Starbucks one is better. What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor if you are new here, and today I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of like a fall bookish vlog. So it is almost time for Christmas content, but before we got into all of that, I wanted to make sure that I was able to kind of just like talk about the fall books that I read. I really need to like reorganize my bookshelf. I went home a couple weekends ago and got a bunch of books from my mom's house and brought them back here to add to my bookshelves. So we need to go through and do some of that. I would love to kind of redo my Kindle case. Right now my Kindle case is very like summery and I need it to fit me a little bit better. So I might want to kind of go about redoing that. I've also really been wanting a like Kindle, not like my case that's on my Kindle that has the pop socket on it that makes the Kindle look cute, but like a Kindle holder so that when I put my Kindle like in my purse or in a tote bag or that kind of thing, that it will like protect the Kindle a little bit better. I had just like this zipper pouch that I was using, but it honestly was really big and felt bulky around my Kindle. So I got this one off of Amazon, and then I bought a bunch of patches because I saw them selling these on Etsy for like $70, and I said, I can do that myself. So we might be doing that today. The third book in the Crowns of Nyaxia books just came out, so I would love to get reading that before I start on my Christmas books. I love that series. I think I read the first two last fall. I really like to read fantasy books in the fall. It just like feels right, and so I read those last year, fell in love with them. I just read The Six Scorched Roses, which is the like novella that's kind of based off of some of the first two books. It's off these two little characters that are in the first two books, but I would love to get reading the third book. But I also have like some errands that I need to get done today, so I guess we'll just kind of see where the day takes us, but we're gonna have a little fall bookish day. Okay, so the first order of business, like I said, I want to work on my bookshelf a little bit. So these are all the books that I brought home from my mom's. It's not like a ton, but it's definitely stuff that I need to like figure out where I want things to go and maybe honestly like reorganize things. So we've got my Game of Thrones books. Like I said, I really like to read like fantasy books. So I've got several things like this. I've got Iron Flame here, my ACOTAR series. I've got Harry Potter and Hunger Games down here. Maybe I'll just give you a little overview of what we're dealing with first. All right, so we'll go like from left all the way over to the right. So starting up here, we've got like my almost just like self-help book kind of things. I like self-improvement kind of books, so that's up on that section. Then we've got more of like our Christian focused self-help books, and then all of Kevin's like commentaries and dictionaries and those kinds of things down here. Then on the next shelf we've got like kind of just like more like classic fiction books. Over here, these are books that I've just used for decor, so low-key I need to like figure out what to do with them. We went through a period of time of collecting like classic cool looking books that I either used as decor or we just liked on our bookshelves. So that's all of this. And then on the bottom here is my like chiropractic school books and other just like wellness based books. And then this is kind of where the like general fiction starts. So these are just my TBR books right now. I don't know if I want to keep them on their own shelf or if I'll need to move that somewhere else. And then like I said, we've got my Fourth Wing book, my ACOTAR books, all the Harry Potter books and the Hunger Games books. And then the last shelf, I've got like authors together. So Taylor Jenkins Reid is up here, Colleen Hoover over here. I've got The Summer I Turned Pretty and The Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy series. And then Emily Henry would go there. And then down here, we just had like more of my like general fiction-y romance kind of books. So if you guys have been here for a moment, you know that I am more of a Kindle girly than like an in-person book, like tangible book kind of person, but I do like to have a little library. I like to have my favorite books in person, especially because I can then like lend them out to other people. Which brings me to the other thing that I want to do while I'm going through this. So for Christmas last year, my brother-in-law got me this like little branding thing. And I had seen somebody on TikTok get these like little gold stickers off of Amazon, and instead of like punching the page of the book, you can emboss that's the word, emboss. You can emboss the stickers and then stick the stickers inside the book so that if you ever do end up giving the books away, then they're just like stickers instead. I also low-key feel like they show up on the stickers a little bit better, and it just like feels more official. So I think I got a pack of like 100 of these stickers on Amazon for, I feel like it was less than $10. So I want to like emboss the stickers and then put them on my books while I'm organizing my other books. So we need to add to my bookshelf. I've got the whole like Chronicles of Narnia series. Like I said, I've got the whole Game of Thrones series. I have the Divergent series minus the Divergent book. I don't know what happened to my Divergent book, but I was obsessed with these in high school, so gonna need to get that. So we'll give one of these little stampy guys a try. Oh, it looks really cute actually. You can see it says like the Library of Taylor Harrish, and it's got this little book with all the flowers. So I think I just kind of had pictured it maybe on the inside cover rather than like on a page necessarily. I think that's why I didn't want to emboss directly on the book, because I wanted it to be able to like go on the inside cover, and I didn't want to emboss like the actual cover, so then it can just be in the little book and you know that it's from my library. So while I'm doing this, I thought maybe we could just like talk through the books that I read this fall, and I'll give you just like my quick summary, quick thoughts, that kind of thing. So starting at the bottom of my list were actually the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. And now don't get me wrong, I did like both of these books. They just were kind of lacking substance to me. So if you don't know, these books are the same, 2 books in a series. They take place in a place called Dream Harbor, which like, that's enough in itself. But basically in the first book, this girl inherits this Pumpkin Spice Cafe from her grandmother. She moves there, meets this grumpy farmer, and then like, long story short, they have to like solve a mystery, and then they end up falling in love while they were doing it. It felt very like insta-lovey to me. It was not, the mystery wasn't really mysterying. I don't know, I was just kind of bored. And then the Cinnamon Bun Cafe is the second book in the series. It takes place in the same place, but the main character is one of the girls from the first books, like one of their friends. She owns the bookstore, and long story short, there is a fisherman in town that he likes her, and she keeps finding these books that are marked up that are sending her on like different scavenger hunts around her town, and the whole time you're thinking that it's probably the fisherman that's setting this up for her, but it's not. But they end up falling in love regardless of it being him or not. I liked this book a lot better. I thought it had a lot more substance. You really got to like see the build up. It kind of reminds me of the like Things We Never Got Over books by Lucy Score, I think. Just kind of how like each book takes place with another character, but all of their stories are like intertwined. So that being said, I rated the Pumpkin Spice Cafe like a 2.75, and then I rated the Cinnamon Bun Cafe like a 3.25. Like I said, I liked that one better. The next book in the series is Christmassy themed, which is why I wanted to read these, because I love to read little Christmassy books at Christmas. And even though I didn't like love these books, I will be continuing the series because I have a hard time not continuing series once I start them, and it like wasn't bad enough for me not to continue the series. If you don't know how my rating scale goes, I'll put it like up on the screen up here so that you can have a little bit more context on how I rate my books. Sidebar, did we just hear that Anne Hathaway is gonna be in Verity? I think that's gonna be crazy. The next book on my list coming in at a 3.5 is Divine Rivals. And let me tell you, I knew absolutely nothing about this book going into it other than I know that people were like obsessed with it and it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I got it. This book took me a little bit to get into because it is very like war-based and I don't love that, truthfully. Decided to try a different angle so you could see what I was doing a little bit better. But like I said, in Divine Rivals, it's set in war. You basically meet your main character. Her name is Iris Winnow. She lives with her brother who decides that he's gonna go fight in this war for one of the goddesses. And honestly, the talk of magic and then these two like gods is the only like actually fantastical part of this book, I felt like, which I think is why I was disappointed. I wanted it to be way more fantasy than it really was. So basically Iris works at a newspaper. She's trying to become a columnist, but she is like in competition with this other boy that's working there too. And she ends up going to be a war correspondent. And then that boy ends up following her. And long story short, they kind of like end up falling in love. But what's interesting is all the while she's working at the paper and while she is on the war front, she's conversing with this stranger through her magical typewriter. So I guess that is another like fantasy aspect of this book. And it turns out that the person that she's conversing with that she kind of ends up falling for is her rival. And so you kind of just get to see them work together, working against each other while also like kind of falling in love through these letters. The whole time the boy knows that it's her, but she doesn't know that it's him. And it's obviously set in like a war setting. Like I said, this was a slow book for me to kind of get into because so much of it was like set in a war setting. I was kind of bored, but once the like relational elements of it started getting into it, like then I was interested. I'm currently reading the second book, Ruthless Vows. I think I'm like 70% of the way through it. I really wanted to know what happened to them because the end of the first book kind of leaves it open, but it has been a lot more war. We are actually interacting with the god and goddess at this point, but I definitely don't like it as much as the first book. I'll have to keep you updated on my rating. Then another 3.5 book. I have to tell you about my number 1 and number 2 book in order for it to make sense. So we'll get to that one. And then my final 3.5 read is actually this book right here. It's Tell Me Lies. And I wanted to read the book because I was obsessed with the TV show on Hulu. But the book, not really the same. So that's why it got a lower rating. So basically this is like college romance kind of vibes, really focuses on a toxic relationship. You have Lucy who falls for Steven, who is super manipulative, but also like Lucy is very damaged and toxic in her own ways. And then it shows their relationship like over the span of like, I think 5 years until they all meet up at their mutual friend's wedding. Like I said, it was very different from the TV show. The TV show is just like way more dramatic, and so I think had I read this book, I might have been willing to give it a higher rating, but because I was basing it off the TV show to kind of figure out what happens in the TV show next, it like did not measure up. And I feel like it's pretty uncommon for a TV show to be better than the book, so that's really interesting to me. The next book coming in at 4 stars was The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hilderbrand. I have read a couple Ellen Hilderbrand books now, and I honestly really like her writing. And this one did not disappoint, except for the ending, which I feel like was how I felt about the first Ellen Hilderbrand book that I read. The lady writes a great story, not a great ending. So this was also made into a Netflix show, and I wanted to read the book so that I could then watch the Netflix show and see how it measured up. And it was definitely interesting the way that they decided to do the show. I feel like they cut out some characters, cut out some details, changed some motives. So basically you have the son of a rich family getting married to a girl, and the morning of the wedding the maid of honor turns up dead. And so you kind of see like a dual perspective of getting to know these characters before the wedding and then like the short amount of time that the wedding's happening that they're conducting this investigation. It's a multiple perspective kind of story, which I thought was really interesting. You get to see a lot of details, getting to hear things from different people's perspectives. It was a very, very good book. The ending, like I said, I didn't love, but it wasn't quite good enough to be like a 5-star read, but it was a very good book. Coming in at number 4, another 4-star read was 6 Scorched Roses. Like I had mentioned, this was the Crowns of Nyaxia novella. So if you don't know, the Crowns of Nyaxia like very much gives me vampire Hunger Games kind of vibes. At least in the first book. The second book, they kind of move away from the competition and more into like being royal after they win kind of thing. But 6 Scorched Roses focuses on the characters Lilith and Vale. So basically, Lilith is human, Vale is a vampire. Lilith is living in the city where all of her people are like plagued and dying, and she's trying to use Vale's blood to heal them. And if you read Crowns of Nyaxia, you know that Lilith and Vale end up together. And so it was really interesting getting to see like their backstory, how they ended up together, how he ended up turning her, those kinds of things. It was really, really short. I did listen to it on Audible, so I think it only took me like 3 hours. I don't know how many pages it was, but it's definitely like a one sitting kind of book. But I really love that world, and I'm very excited that there's another book out that I can go back and get back with those characters. My number 3 book coming in at a 4.25 is The Very Irregular Society of Witches. Now, this was like the coziest, cutest little fall witchy book. Basically, you have the main character, her name is Mika Moon. She is a witch, and basically in this society, they don't want witches interacting with each other because it will draw attention to them and leading to them being killed. And so kind of like long story short, in attempt to get recognition for being a witch without like outwardly doing it, she does like little magic-y things on TikTok. This guy sees her on TikTok, is like, oh, that's a real witch, not a fake witch. He reaches out to her, asks if he can come and teach these 3 young witches how to use their magic. And then there are several like other caretakers there that like teach them all the different subjects and that kind of thing. And it's very like found family vibes, which is just so cute. It was very, very cozy, a great like fall kind of read. Again, it wasn't like the best book that I've ever read, but it was very cute. That brings us to book 1 and book 2, which are both 2 books of a series. And that series is the Powerless series. Powerless, I gave a 5-star rating. I thought it was so good. And then the second book in the series, Reckless, I gave a 4.75. So basically in the Powerless world, having power defines your worth. And if you are powerless, they're probably gonna kill you. Kind of understood that the powerless people are like tainting the power of the elites, which are the people with power. And Peyton is our main character, and she is indeed powerless, but she has to pretend that she has powers to survive. She also lives in the slums, and so she kind of has to steal to get food. And she encounters one of our princes while she is stealing from him, basically, not knowing who she is. She kind of ends up saving him and ends up in this like trial, basically, where like there's one winner who gets all the glory, but she's in this trial having no powers. And so it's definitely like an enemies to lovers kind of trope, which we love. Just like really good banter, really good like knife to the throat kind of scenes, but also just like taking care of each other. It very much had like Hunger Games vibes because of the trials. And I don't 100% know how to talk about the second book without like giving some major spoilers away. But basically at the end of the first book, she does something very like treasonous, and it's the prince's job to go get her and bring her back to kind of serve her punishment. And so it's very like enemies to lovers, back to enemies, but with like crazy tension. The second book wasn't as good as the first. I think when you have a book that's based on a trial and then the trials aren't in the second book, it's hard to like kind of measure up, but it was still very, very good. Like I said, the first book was a 5-star read for me, and I honestly cannot recommend enough. The third book in the series comes out in April, and I cannot wait for it to come out. You wanna say hi to the vlog? This is Renly. Say hi, vlog. Which brings me back to the book that I had to skip, which is like a novella in the Powerless world. So technically Powerless 1.5 is called Powerful, and it follows Peyton's best friend, which if you read Powerless, you know that she kind of has a very like influential role in the book, and so getting to see her side of the events leading up to the end of Powerless is very interesting. But it was harder for me to like really get attached to her because I know how the story ends. And so like while it was interesting to get her perspective, I wasn't like attached to the characters in this book. And because of that, I only gave it a 3.5 rating. The writing was still really good, the story was really good, but it's just not something that I'm gonna like remember a whole lot. Again, I just wasn't really attached to the characters or the storyline. So that has been the 10 books that I've read this fall. I will keep you updated on how I feel about Ruthless Vows as I finish it, which will be number 11, and then hopefully I can finish The Crowns of Nyaxia number 3, which will be number 12. So I think I'm going to finish getting all of my stickers on, kind of clean up the bookshelves a little bit. I would love to get the decorations up a little bit better, and then we will check back in. I think this all turned out so good. I'm so happy with the way it's looking. I would love to maybe get some more things to like put up top, maybe like some bookish art prints or just things to set up there to be extra cute. And then we've got some work to do. I want to get more of the Emily Henry books. I need to get Iron Flame, and then there's lots more room for that to expand. I want to get the Twilight books and maybe fit them down here or maybe up in here. So we've got work to do, but I decided to keep the TBR thing over here, and then the little stamp can be there as I get other books. But I think it was a good project for the day. So I made my little Kindle case on Canva, as you saw, and then I just sent it to Walgreens to print. Usually I have just printed it out like on regular paper, but I saw a girl do it on TikTok where she sent it to like a photo studio to get printed, and it looked so much better. So I'm hoping I got, oh, now I can't remember. I went back and forth for a long time on whether to get matte or glossy. I think I chose matte, because I just wanted it to be like a slightly higher quality photo than just like printing it on regular computer paper. Now I'll have to let you know when it gets printed, but I think it turned it out really, really cool. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I was going for just like red and pink for a while, but then I decided I wanted to add a couple more colors in there, so I felt like adding the like green and a little bit of yellow, that kind of thing, helped it look cool. So I really hope that it looks cool when it gets printed. So like I said, I have a couple errands that I want to run, so we're gonna go get dinner. We're gonna go to Joann Fabrics to get some crafty things that I need. I also would love to be able to find a couple more iron-on patches for the Kindle case that I want to make, so we'll have to see if they have any. When we went to Hobby Lobby a couple weeks ago, they had some but not a lot, so I would love to find, I've ordered a couple off Etsy already, but I would love to find like maybe one or two cute other ones, because I feel like a lot of the colors that I got are pink, and so I would love a little bit of a discrepancy in my patches, so we'll have to see about that. I'm looking for some fabric for a cushion that I want to make. Need to get some paint for a Christmas craft that I'm working on, so we need to go to Joann Fabrics. I need a couple things from Target. I would love to be able to find a runner at either TJ Maxx or Home Goods to put in front of the bookshelf. I think I told you guys that earlier, maybe not, but the carpet in our upstairs where the bookshelves are is just pretty gross. Like, we rent our house, if you guys didn't know that, and so we can't just like put nicer carpet in, so I've been working on like covering it with rugs and that kind of thing. So I would like to get probably a runner to go in front of that there to make it look a little bit nicer. So gonna run some errands, and I will check back in with you guys when we're done. All right, I got my errands run, and while I did not find the runner that I was looking for, I did go and print out my little Kindle insert, and I am so excited with how it turned out. So I think it just looks so good. I do think I went with the matte finish. It just gives it, I don't know, I feel like more of a like case appearance rather than like something super shiny like a photograph would be. So this is my current Kindle case. I've got just like, this was one of the ones that I printed out using paper, and I feel like it looks cool, but it's just like, doesn't look as high quality, especially as I feel like this one does. So as you can see, I've got the little like pop socket here, which was what the little like heart was on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and swap them out and see how it fits. You know, this is a good opportunity to go ahead and clean both of these real quick. So unfortunately we had to make a little bit of edits to this, but I still think it looks so cool. So I think what happened is that the measurements of the Kindle is like 4x9 by 6x9, and I made it those dimensions on Canva, but I think when I automatically uploaded it to the Walgreens printing site, it like enlarged it just a little bit to fit a 5x7, and so because of that, like, I kind of had to cut. I chose to leave this top border good because I didn't want to cut off the little like "We'll Be Alright" because that's my Harry Styles homage, and I was afraid to like cut too close to this side because I wanted to still be able to see this, so I decided to cut this side off a little bit, which cut off this sticker a little bit. But I don't think it's too bad, and because it enlarged, I think it like shifted where my heart thing was supposed to be, so you can't read that unless it's like popped open super well and there is a bit of like an empty space in here. Like I would have preferred the heart to be down in this area, but I still think it's really, really cool. Very me, which is what we were going for. I love the leopard print background and just all of the colors all together. So it's very, very cool. For my first one, making and printing at a print shop and not just like printing on paper, I think it looks really, really cool and I'm really happy with it. And as you saw, it was like super, super easy just to like cut out all of the things and place them in. So definitely a very doable craft if you want to make your own Kindle background. I'm pretty sure I have this just like plain case and maybe even this pop socket linked on one of my Amazon storefronts. And if I do, I'll make sure to link that down below. It's just like a clear case. And then I got this little like heart, like quartz, marbly stone pop socket, but I honestly can't imagine not having a pop socket on the back of my Kindle. I feel like it makes it so easy to just like hold on to it when I'm reading like in the summer by the pool or in the bathtub or anything like that. Like it's just nice to have an extra thing that like doesn't let it fall out of my hands. And then if I want to like set it on its side, it can like rest this way and I can read with just like having the Kindle on a flat surface, which is super nice. So you might have noticed that I downloaded the next Crowns of Nyaxia book that I was talking about. I looked at Target to see if I could find the whole series, and if they had the whole series, I was considering just buying it to like add all to my bookshelf like right now. But they didn't have the newest book at the Target that I went to. They had the first two and the Six Scorched Roses, but I just felt silly buying the two that I've already read if I was just gonna put this one on my Kindle and get the actual book later. Like I'm hoping that for Black Friday or something, Target's gonna have some book sales, so I might go a little crazy getting some of the books that I want to fill out my bookshelf with on Black Friday. So I just downloaded this on my Kindle. So I actually want to make my little Kindle case and then we're gonna get into reading. So this is the Kindle case that I found. I got this on Amazon as well. It's got like this front little pocket, which I thought was nice. Like you could definitely slip a charger in there or any like, if you're carrying your Kindle with a regular book, you could also put like pens and tabs and that kind of thing in there. And then the inside is just kind of like lined, which is nice. Don't talk. It's almost your turn. My iron is going off. I have it preheating so that we can do this. So it's lined and I'm pretty sure it's like water resistant. I'm not sure it's all the way waterproof, but I just wanted something that was going to be like a little bit more protective. Like I said, I can tell that like this case is starting to get scratched up and stuff, which not really a big deal. It was a really cheap, just plastic case and I could get another. However, I don't know. My pop socket is like pretty stuck on there. So I don't know if I remove it, if it's gonna stick to a new case. I don't know if I'd have to get a new pop socket or get a new like adhesive of some sort, but I really like this one, so I'm trying to protect it. So we got this little case, and like I said, I've seen pictures, I think I saw it on Etsy, that people were when I was looking for a case myself, I kind of just wanted something like fun and customizable, but I wasn't really finding what I wanted, especially in the price range that I wanted. I saw these really cool cases that had just like custom patches on them, but they were selling for like $70 to $80, and I said, I can make that cheaper. So I ordered a bunch of patches off of Etsy. I found a couple in stores, and I'm still looking for a good like tea patch, but I haven't found one yet. So I've got 6 patches that I got from a brand on Etsy called Wildflower & Co. So first, this one's a honker, and I did not realize it was gonna be so big when I ordered it, but I really like just the like cute little cake detail, and it says love on it. And then this one's actually smaller than I expected, but it's this fun like tiger patch. We got both a little cherry with bows on it, and then this fun like disco strawberry. And then I got this little like tennis patch. It's got the cute little green tennis ball and the little green tennis wrap at the bottom. And then this little like matcha in the fun little glass, which I thought was really cute. And then like I said, most of those feel like they're like pink and I wanted some more colors. So I really liked this little yellow smiley face, and I got these at Hobby Lobby. And then again, I would love to find like maybe a butterfly and maybe a T that I could put on there, but otherwise I feel like I've got a good little collection of patches that should just be able to go like on the front and on the back and be extra super cute. So the Etsy shop sent me directions saying that you should be able to turn your iron to the cotton or high setting, position your patch, hold the iron on it for 30 to 60 seconds, and then let it cool to see if the patch is secure. And if not, continue to do that. And I've used the iron-on patch before. If you watched my like fall decorating vlog, I don't remember which one that was, but I'll make sure to either link it down below or like in the cards up here. I showed you guys making our zebra iron-on patch hand towel for our bathroom. So I've done this before. I've used iron-on patches on hats before. I think it should be easy. My only concern would be is if this material, because it's like a moisture wicking material, if it doesn't hold the iron on, then we'll have to go to plan B, but I'm hoping that won't be an issue. Okay, that honestly was way easier than I expected it to be, and I think it looks so cool. And it's so cool that it's like personalized to me. So I feel like the back is probably done for the most part. I feel like I could add like maybe some small things here, but I don't want to add too much more to it because I feel like it will start to get like really busy. Like this being as big as it is, back here doesn't need a whole lot more, I don't feel like. Maybe something small up here too. But the front, like I left room to be able to do stuff. Like I said, I want to get a little T. And so that's what I was doing with this little piece of paper. I just cut like a little makeshift T out so that I could kind of like visualize the way, okay. So I could visualize the way that I want it to be like in there. And I feel like they've got like 2-inch letters like this, but I just want to find like a cute color that will look good also. So I feel like a T in there, and then I thought like a little butterfly or something up here. Like there's definitely room to add a couple more things on here. I also liked the idea that because there is a pocket on this, I could get like pins and collect pins different places and then like add pins on the front of here too. But for right now, we're just doing the patches and I think it looks so cute. It'll look even better once it's like actually finished, but that will have to happen as I find them because I've not been able to find them as easily as I want to. So it'll definitely just be like the perfect little holding thing. Maybe I'll have to find cuter zippers because they're just gray and ugly right now, and I feel like a cuter, I could get, I should get like a cute charm keychain, and then it can be like a cute keychain on there. Yeah, it's Pit My Kindle Day apparently, but I just think it's so cute. It's going to protect my Kindle so well, and then with the Kindle looking cute on the back, it's just, it could not have gone better.